paint palm trees. This is going to be the easiest way. I think I enjoy painting this way, so I figured I'd share it with you. Alright, this shouldn't take too long, so this should be a short video. I just try to start off with drawing in a light sketch of a palm tree. Draw the trunk. I draw where the palm fronds will roughly be going. Put a couple there. And then I will take a flat brush. This is a 1/2 inch flat brush. Get my black. Barely touching. Adding a little more pressure, a little more pressure, a little more pressure. Try to keep the top thin, the bottom wide. About halfway, barely touching, and then flare it out a little more. Barely touching, going just a little teeny bit wider, and then I usually flare out the bottom a little more, like so. For the start of the palm fronds, you can use this brush for a bigger tree, but for this size tree, I'm actually going to use a smaller angle brush. Little angle on it. It's got water on it, so take the water out. I want to keep the angle going up. Will be the first piece that touches, a little bit of pressure, and then I lift away. So same black paint. I like to try to paint with my black paint a little bit watered down, so it just doesn't need much pressure, and it'll cover well. I'll start in the middle of the palm tree. Just light pressure on the top of that brush, and then lift away. Light pressure, and then barely touching as I lift the brush away. I'm going to do that all the way around. Start in the middle, lift away. And these don't have to be absolutely all the same thickness. You can start on the end if you want and barely touch, and then bring it forward towards the middle if you want to do it that way, if that seems a little easier for you. All right, so I'm going to make the individual fronds. I'm going to use very light pressure. I try to start in the middle again. I'm just lightly touching this canvas. Actually, I'm using paper for this demo, so lightly touching the paper with this brush. And I'm just kind of touch and lifting away with the smallest amount of pressure, just using the very small pieces of the bristles on this paintbrush. I don't want to fill it all the way in because I want you to be able to see some of the background. If you had a sunset or some sky, blue sky there, you want to be able to see a little bit of that color behind it still, so you don't want to completely fill it in. It's going to dry really fast on this paper, which is good. So this is the first layer. if you're wanting to do like a silhouette palm tree, which that's what this is considered, going to be a silhouette. And then I'll show you, I'll add in some color. To make it look a little more realistic. Sometimes palm trees have like a little bit of old cutaways up towards the top there. Sometimes they hang down. There's so many different palm trees. So kind of just keep adding to it. But the key is don't add to it too much where it looks like a dandelion. All right, I'm gonna do my rinse my brush out. I'll show you how to add in some color. I got a small detail brush, and I got just some random green color here, and I'm just gonna, like before, barely touching the canvas, and I'm not going to coat all of the black, but I'm just going to be adding in some highlights. Like I said, each palm tree, depending on the painting you're wanting to do, give it a different look, whether you want more color in it or less color in it. But this really works well if you're just trying to have the back of it just filler with the black layer first. Like I said, I'm just using lightest amount of pressure. And I'm keeping my brush loaded up with paint, but not too much paint, because then you don't want a big glob on there. And I just keep going around filling in light places of the palm fronds until I get the desired look. And sometimes if you want to add some highlights, you can always add a little white paint to the trunk if there's kind of a reflection on there. You can go in there and just barely touch. Just the smallest amount of pressure, and just lightly put in some highlighted areas. I usually try to pick one side of the palm tree trunk there instead of, painting the whole entire thing. You just want to kind of highlight a side. Maybe the sunlight is hitting it from this direction. So you want to kind of accent this edge over here like so. And of course, there may be some grasses that you want to add in around this palm tree. If this palm tree's, on the edge of the beach and it has some palm grass, some tropical grass growing in there, like I say, just light pressure, very light pressure. You're just lifting. Maybe got a couple little dark spots in there with some sea oats or something. You can just get kind of crazy and add in whatever you want to there. Of course, we have to add a seagull, so we make it more authentic. Let's add a seagull right there. Maybe there's a little teeny seagull way up here, and then there's one way over here. Yeah, so that's pretty much, a quick way to do a a simple palm tree. If you're wanting to try to learn how to paint a palm tree, this is the way I do it, and works pretty well. Like I said, if you really take your time and add in, you know, some special little details here and there, if you want to, you know, if you're still adding, if you feel like there still needs to be a little more, you take some straight white. This is actually gesso, but it works well for what we're doing here. And then you can just add in a couple little areas of the white paint just to kind of make a couple more of these little spots kind of stand out. Yeah, that'll work for me. Alrighty, well, I appreciate your watching, and hopefully this helps you out. Quick little video on how to paint a palm tree with a little bit of grass around the bottom with silhouette feel. And thanks for watching.